Luca sat down for an interview at ESPN. Was that Malika Andrews, correct?
It was. Yes, it was.
I just, for a minute, couldn't remember. But I was interested in listening to him, and he talked about, the criticism that he heard, and he wants to move on, and, it's painful, I guess is the word that he used. But let's take a listen to Luca and on ESPN.
You hang up the phone the night you're traded, and you threw it?
Yes.
Do you have that phone?
Yeah.
You still use that phone?
Yeah, it still works.
General Manager Nico Harrison of the Dallas Mavericks, he had this closed-door, no-cameras meeting with reporters. The reporter said, you didn't believe that the team that went to the finals last year with Luca as a centerpiece could contend and continue to contend for championships. And Nico Harrison said, I'll say this again, defense wins championships. What do you say to that?
It's just sad in the way he's talking right now. I never say anything bad about him, and I just want to move on. The fans, my ex-teammates, always keep it hard. It's time for me to move on from that.
Have you spoken to Nico Harrison since you left Dallas?
No.
Have you spoken to him on the night that you were traded?
No.
Was your intention to finish your career in Dallas?
Of course. It's an easy question.
There it is.
There it is.
The criticism of Luka, a couple of things you could criticize. His 35-year-old body on a 25-year-old guy.
First of all, you always saying that like it was documented.
Well,
okay, why you keep calling that man 35 instead of 25?
Well, I'm just saying. And also, defense, we all know that. Nobody's breaking any news that he's not a great defensive player. Are we? Are we breaking any news?
No,
okay.
that's not, I hope he would even admit at times he has been extraordinarily
And that would have been
bad.
my follow-up question. Seriously, when he says that, well, are you a good defender? Are you a good defender?
Or do you agree with that statement?
Right, that you're not a good defender. I would like to hear him say, I am, or my defensive rating, I could get better, or whatever. Yeah, no, I need improvement that. But there wasn't a question that was asked. You know what I'm saying? I just would do that. But anyway, where the question really is the criticism of Luka inbounds or out of bounds. And I'm just going to start. The criticism is fair. It's inbounds. Defensively, there's issues. Now, here's the other part. I get it when you make a trade like that and you're trying to justify the trade and you have talking points. You can't talk about the guy's offense, can you? Not when he's a 5-time first-team All-NBA, okay, and we know what he can do offensively. So, yes, you have to come up with something, and defense is something that you could use, especially since you got Anthony Davis in return, right? AD can block. He's a big guy. He can grab rebound. He can do okay defensively. Yes. So if you're on that kick, Nico didn't come up with the idea that defense wins championships. It's a cliche, right? We've heard it for a million years. Kelvin, right? Defense wins championships.
Yeah.
You can score all day. Can you get a stop? Can you get a block at the rim? Can you protect the rim? All this other stuff. But again, I don't believe this is a basketball trade, but is he beyond criticism? No, he's not beyond criticism. He's not a perfect basketball player. If somehow the Lakers lose in the first round or something and you see lackluster defense from Luka, lackluster Luka on defense, trust me, people will chime in on that and talk about his defense. So I don't have an issue with it at all. I think when people are asking you to explain the trade and why you did what you did, you have to use the idea or the narrative about defense because that's his only weak spot.
Well, here's the issue I have. The issue I have has been the last couple of months since this all happened, Rob. My issue is this the NBA or TMZ? Because what we've had happen was you chose to make a decision, and that's their right. They're an ownership group. He's a GM. They chose to make a move. I believe it was a crazy move, but that's their right. However, it's how you do things. And it seems as though since they've been backpedaling and trying to explain their way through this and justify their moves, they're starting to denigrate the man. They're starting to take jabs and stabs at the man on the way out. And now, Luka, he's overweight. He didn't play defense. His condition.
Show me the quote from any front office or.
I'm glad you said that.
Show me that quote.
I'm glad you said that.
I'm
glad you said that. They have insinuated that he was not cooperating with their physicians.
Is there a direct quote?
Hold on. Yes, they insinuated that he was not cooperating with their physicians, that they believed he should have been with them when he was training, and they don't believe that he was training the proper way. That is factual. Defense wins championships, saying that, insinuating he doesn't play defense. Well, let me tell you what. How about you GM your way to a defensive team? Because I can tell you 10 to 12 historically great players who weren't great defensively. Steph Curry ain't great defensively. Larry Bird wasn't great defensively. Shaq wasn't great defensively. You can GM your way to other teams, other players, and a system to defense. And my thing is this. When reports come out, when innuendos are being said, and you don't shut them down, you don't speak up, you don't handle it, in my opinion, with class in a way of saying, man, it's not about anything we heard. We just felt we need to make a basketball move to right the ship and get us where we were going. You don't have to keep going, not answering questions, letting things fester and sit around where, hey, I didn't say you didn't. I was just saying it's out there. That, to me, is where it's disappointing. That's why you heard Luka say the way they're talking about me, the stuff they keep saying about me. I haven't said anything bad about them. So that's, to me,
no, he got dumped. What's the bad thing? He got dumped, and the question really could be, seriously, well, why did they get rid of you? You know what I mean? Like, seriously, if he's saying that or the interview, I'm not sitting here like I'm the all-world interviewer, but those are questions that could have been, well, why did they trade you? Why do you think you were traded?
But right, and I think at this point he would probably say, "I don't know. I was committed. I was all in. I was buying a house." I don't think he would answer for them.
But that's a question to be asked.
That is a question to be asked. I don't disagree with that at all. But to me, I just think it's been out of bounds how they're continuously trades happen all the time, Rob. This is the most backtracking is talking about it, doing weird press conferences where, okay, only select few can come, but don't bring a recorder, don't bring a TV guy. Like, they're acting so weird how they're handling this. And that lets me know that they know they were in the wrong. And now they're backtracking, trying to cover their tracks and appease everybody.
It's whether or not.
So the question, it was out of bounds.
Okay.
Absolutely out of bounds how far they've gone. You made a trade, make your initial statement, stand by your statement, move on. It's out of bounds how it keeps going, Rob. It keeps going.
It's in bounds because when you make a trade for a player of that ilk, it didn't go away after one day. Okay, you made a trade, nobody brings it up. He's an all-time great and international star. So there was a stretched-out period before you got to hear from different people, before you got to hear from Luca, before you got to hear from Nico. So this all makes sense to me. It's not them stretching it out. It's that they didn't talk for a while. 877-99 on Fox.
All right, Rob and I talking about right now, inbounds or out of bounds, the way Nico Harrison and the comments that they had and the criticism towards Luca. 877-99 on Fox.
All right, let's go. Antonio in Miami, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Just 3 quick points. I'll try to wrap it up in less than a minute. Number one, I definitely believe the Dallas Mavericks, they're running a business. They have the option to let them go, to trade them, do whatever they want. I'm tired of the world we live in where there's workers' rights and, where somehow the employer is somehow the boss of everybody, and this goes outside of sports. The second point, and Rob, you were covering it since everyone was guppies.
That's right. Since 1987. Very nice.
He combined two of your favorite things to say. Covered the league since 1997, and since Moby Dick was a guppy.
Was a guppy, yes. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's funny, Antonio. Trey in Texas. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Trey?
Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Doing good, man. I think it's out of line, man. It's out of line.
Why? What's out of line? He's a great defender, and Nico doesn't know what he's talking about? What's out of line?
Like I said, man, I mean, well, even millions of people around the world, man, there's something else going on that they ain't saying. I don't know what it is.
I think you're right, and I think that they haven't said that. You know what I mean? Like if they really wanted to put some blood in the water, they could have easily leaked that out. Whatever it really is.
But they sure ain't shutting some other stuff up, Rob.
No,
you
but
know
I'm
what
saying,
I mean.
but I'm saying if there's something else out there, if they really wanted to, I
do believe Nico was disappointed in the defense that Luka got. I do believe, but my thing is, when you have a talent that special, you can GM around that, right? Steve Nash was never a great defender. Like, there's plenty of people. Everybody can't be amazing. But I mentioned Larry Bird, who won 3. Steph Curry has 4. I can go down to Shaq has 4.
But you just mentioned somebody who didn't.
No, what I was saying, I was using an example of just like you can have he had a lot of success, not championships, but I named plenty of dudes who weren't great defenders. My point is just you can that's my job. I'm going to GM around that. Who else we got?
Drew in New Jersey. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Drew?
Hey, guys. I think that it's selective outrage because the same criticism can be said about Jokic. They have the same exact body. They both are awful defenders. Part of the reason why the one with the Nuggets is they hid.
No, that's not it, Drew. Drew. One guy's won 3 MVPs and won a championship. The other guy hasn't. Come on, man. Be fair.
But they GM'd around it. That's the point. They had KCP.
Be fair.
Bruce Brown. They had Bruce Brown. They literally covered up his weaknesses.
No, it's not the same. They're not the same.
It's literally exactly what we're saying.
It's not.
Covering up the weaknesses. They put together a great roster, and I can't believe they got rid of those guys.
Still doesn't mean that when you don't win and you have those issues that you can't bring that up as a reason.
Okay, so Jokic has 1 ring for all these.
One. You talk about one like.
No, what I'm saying is for all these possible
was a great player, he got none. Patrick Ewing was a great player, he got none.
MVPs,
you keep saying one.
Because what I'm saying is he only got to the Western Conference Finals in the ring. You're acting like Jokic gets to the finals every other year. So if he loses in the first round, we need to get rid of him because he's a bad defender.
Nobody said that. I'm saying
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not equating the two as equals. One hasn't won an MVP. One hasn't won a championship. They're not equals. That's all I'm saying. They're not. I don't care how good Luca is. They're not equals. Not yet.
Man, that one dude has a ring that he got and then he ain't did nothing else since.
Did you watch the postseason? He put on a clinic. It was one of the greatest postseason runs.
And I've seen Luka put on a clinic to get to the finals. Yes, I have.
It was the great. I'm talking about in the finals.
I'm not. No. I'm not saying Jokic isn't nice. He's nice. He's amazing.
It was historic.
What I'm saying is if he doesn't win again, okay, do we start questioning if we need to trade Jokic?
There's a lot of guys who only won one. What are you saying? I don't know what that means.
Do we trade Jokic if he doesn't win again?
That's not what I'm saying.
Based off he's not playing defense.
Jokic isn't 500 pounds and not working out with the media staff. I don't know.
He 300.